Hi. Hi. Okay, I finally got a good picture of me smiling on there, so I'm kind of proud of myself for doing that. So, today I'm reading part 3 of paper 175, the fateful Sanhedrin meeting. And so the Pharisees were always trying to trap Jesus into saying something um, not Jewish, or have some kind of way for him to trap him into making a fool of himself in public, so that they could look like heroes and arrest him, and the public would support them. But they tried that so many times to try to trap him into making a fool of himself by giving him hard questions to answer. One thing they did a lot was trying to make him hold him guilty of doing work on the Sabbath day and stuff like that. But he always kind of upended their attempts to incriminate him against the Jewish law, according to the Jewish law. And so they failed to indict him in public. So now's the day they're having a meeting, and they're deciding that we can't do that again. We have to go and arrest him at night when nobody's around. And um, so so they're doing this. um I'm getting nervous as I get to the end of this, because it's like I'm going like, oh my gosh, I know what's going to happen. They're going to kill him, aren't they? And I'm going like, yeah, I already know that. But I kind of don't want to read about it, but I kind of do, And okay, at 8 o'clock on this Tuesday evening, the fateful meeting of the Sanhedrin was called to order. On many previous occasions had this Supreme Court of the Jewish nation informally decreed the death of Jesus. Many times had this august ruling body determined to put a stop to his work, but never before had they resolved to place him under arrest and to bring about his death at any and all costs. It was just before midnight on this Tuesday, April 4th, AD 30, that the Sanhedrin, as then constituted, officially and unanimously voted to impose the death sentence upon both Jesus and Lazarus. Of course, he rose Lazarus from the dead, and then he told Lazarus, to get away from here. You better go, because they're going to come after you, because Jesus already knew that. And so Lazarus already packed up and went to Philadelphia so he wouldn't be found. And there he was instrumental in the church there. Okay, so it's good that he got away. This was the answer to the master's last appeal to the rulers of the Jews, which he had made in the temple only a few hours before, and it represented their reaction of bitter resentment towards Jesus' last and vigorous indictment of these same chief priests and impenitent Sadducees and Pharisees. The passing of death sentence, even before his trial, upon the Son of God was the Sanhedrin's reply to the last offer of heavenly mercy ever to be extended to the Jewish nation as such. So, and they normally didn't do this without at least having a trial, but they did it to Jesus. They're not going to give him a fair trial or in front of people and let him defend himself. And, that's just, they're past that point. They're so mad at him. Okay, from this time on, the Jews were left to finish their brief and short lease of national life wholly in accordance with their purely human status among the nations of Urantia. Israel had repudiated the Son of God, who made a covenant with Abraham, and the plan to make the children of Abraham the light bearers of truth to the world had been shattered. The divine covenant had been abrogated, and the end of the Hebrew nation drew on apace. Okay, so this was the end of that covenant. So Jewish people, I guess you're not any longer God's chosen people. Okay, that's what this implies. So um, if God needs a new chosen people, I would like to nominate Native American people, who I'm a great fan of Native American spirituality, and that would be a splendid choice. That's just my input there, God, just in case you're listening. Okay. The officers of the Sanhedrin were given orders for Jesus' arrest early the next morning, but with instructions that he must not be apprehended in public. So they're not going to make that mistake again. They were told to plan to take him in secret, preferably suddenly and at night. Understanding that he might not return that day, Wednesday, to teach in the temple, they instructed these officials of the Sanhedrin to bring him before the high Jewish court sometime before midnight on Thursday. And of course, that's when the Last Supper happened, and Maundy Thursday, so this is Holy Week. Okay, and I just want to remind everybody that now that Jewish people aren't necessarily the chosen people of God any longer, that it still doesn't mean that we have a right to discriminate against them. I think that up to this point, I think they were afforded some special protection because the plan probably was that the Creator Son, or Son of God, would be incarnated among them. That was probably the plan from early, when that covenant was made. But now they're no longer afforded that special protection. That's what I take it to mean in any case. And of course, anybody is free to disagree with me. And I appreciate your input, and I respect whatever you have to say about it. I don't represent anybody else besides me. There's one thing I love about the Urantia book, is that there's no official clergy. So anybody has the right to interpret this meanings of this work as you will, as long as it's done in good faith. Okay, that's our reading for today. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow.